Hi friends, I am Dr. Pratap Singh Rathod. I have done MD in Policy Medicine and today we'll discuss about identification from hairs. Examination of hair is also known as trichology, can provide crime scene investigators with important clues. Apart from burning, hair is virtually indestructible and hence it can be very useful for investigations. It remains identifiable even in bodies in the advanced and state of decomposition or are attached to weapons of offense after a crime has been committed. And once the hair is obtained, it can be used for further identification of victim as well as assailant. Following points has to be established when the material alleged to be hair is given. First is confirm it is whether it is a hair, whether it is a human hair, where the hair has obtained, what is the sex of the hair, whether there was any injury on the hairs or any singeing of the hairs, whether there is stains on the hairs, and identification of hair from the identity of the person using hairs in poisoning cases, and some miscellaneous information can be obtained from hairs. Coming to one by one, confirming it is as a hair. By using normal anatomy of hair, hair consists of root, bulb, and shaft, and three well-defined layers in cross sections. So this is the cross section of hairs. The hair, whenever it's there, there is a root, then there is a bulb, and there is a shaft of hair which is there. If you take a cross section, the outer layer is consist of cuticle, then middle is the cortex, then the inner layer is the medulla, which is the most center part of the hairs. If compared to fibers, which can also be obtained in the serum frame, like black fibers can be obtained, they can be divided into natural hair, natural fibers or artificial fibers. Natural fibers include like silk fibers, wool, cottons, etc. Artificial like polymers of nylon, like that. It can be distinguished using comparison microscope and using the hairs and the sample with comparing with the human hair. We can hair can differentiate between the fiber and the hairs. And also infrared spectrophotometer can also be used for identifying the hair from fiber. How to confirm it is a human hair? So there may be chances that animal hair can be mixed with the human hair also. So human hair is fine and thin. Animal hair is coarse and thicker. Cuticle is short, broad and thin in human hair. It is large and wavy in animal hairs. So you can see here the cuticle is short and broad. Here it is wavy. You can see in the animal hairs. Cortex is thick, about 4 to 10 times the medulla, but in animal hair it is thin to 2 times of medulla. So cortex here the cortex present is very thick, but the cortex in the animal hair is thin and only 2 times of medulla. Medulla is narrow and fragmented. So in this image you can see the medulla part, which is the center part, it's fragmented, it's not continuous, but medulla of the animal hair is thicker compared to human hair. Pigment is evenly distributed. It is only present in the medulla of animal hair. PP test, it is perception test. If done, it is specific for humans, it is specific for animals. Medullary index is less than 0.3. That is the division between the cortex and medulla. If it done, it is 0.3, less than 0.3. It is more than 0.5 in animals. Since the medulla is thinner in human hair, it is less than 0.3. And animal hair, since the medulla is thicker, it is more than 0.5. Site of origin of hairs. So scalp hairs are long, soft, taper from root tips. Their split ends may be seen and circular on cross sections. Beard hairs or mustache hairs are thicker, straighter, blunt tips, triangular on cross sections. Axillary and pubic hairs are usually stout, short, lack of uniformity present. They are curly with frayed or split ends. Eyebrows, eyelashes, and nostril hairs are short and stiff, thick, tapering abruptly and triangular on cross sections. Body hair, other than the mentioned, are soft, fine, flexible, lack of uniformity of medulla, milder pigmentation, and narrow tip is seen. Coming to sex of hair, beard and mustache hairs are specific for males. Male hair is usually thicker, coarser, and darker as compared to females. Barb bodies, which can be obtained from the root of the hairs in hair follicles, in about 20% present in 20 to 80% of females and only 0 to 4% of females. Sexing can be done if root sheet is present using DNA analysis. Coming to identifying the injury to the hairs, In uncut hair, the tip is usually pointed. So if you see the cross section of the hair, the tip is usually pointed in normal hairs. But if it is cut by any sharp weapons, the edges will be cut sharply, or the edges will be uh, serrated in a blunt weapon is present. Blunt force is there. Flattening and splitting of hair shaft will be seen. Singed hair is due to burns of firearm or any burns. So singeing of hair is usually the tip of the hairs gets curled up. That is called as singeing of hairs. So when the tip of the hair is burned, the tip just curl up and forms the singe. So it can be seen in burns, firearm injuries, or sin can be present. In the singed hair are swollen, fragile, and curled and twisted and have peculiar odor of burning of hairs. Hairs and stains. Bleached or colored hair are dry, brittle, and lustrous and rough. Abrupt color changes to a very light degree may indicates of bleaching. Color and critically indicates that there is dyeing is present. Microscopic examination with incident fluorescence can illumination may show whether the hair is dyed or not. Hair color is lighter in diseases such as kwashiorkor disease, malnutrition, and certain vitamin deficiencies. Tunneling of hairs by fungal hyphae can produce distinct transverse lines when the hair is exposed to fungal and buried bodies. Using hair to identify the individuals, blood groups like as AB and AB1O can be determined from single hair blood if the root is some blood cells are present in the root. If some root structure is present, standard DNA profiling can be used. Even if the shaft is there, mitochondrial DNA can be used to test it. DNA testing can be done with mitochondrial DNA. Race can be identified using different races have different appearance of hairs, such as straight hairs are seen in Indian hairs, shorter curly hairs are seen in Negroes. Age of a person can be determined by proper observation of site of origin, means since of examining the scalp hairs or beard hairs. Lanico hairs, which are seen in the infants, are soft, fine, and downy, and non-pigmented, which cover the body in prenatal period of the infants, prenatal period of fetus. Pubic hairs grows at the age of 13 years in females and 20 years in males. Axillary hair grows at the age of 14 years in females and 15 years in males. Graying of hair starts with after 40 years of age. Dyeing of hair is often done by for concealment of graying can be seen with aging. So if the dyes are seen in the hairs, which usually indicate that the person is old age. Beard hairs are usually first to turn gray compared to other body part of the body. Hairs and poisoning. In organic metallic irritant poisons such as arsenic, here may be give some clues. Certain cases of chronic metallic poisoning like arsenic may be deposited in the hairs, and chemical examination may indicate that the person may have chronically exposed to this poisoning. Some miscellaneous information from hairs like identifying weapons, vehicle of crime. Hair found on suspected weapon or vehicle may be always be compared with the sample hairs that is from the victim as well as assailant to identify and confirm whether the weapon producing the injury or the vehicle causing the accident is same or not. So hair obtained from the body as well as on the weapon should be compared for identifying purposes. In certain cases like sexual offences in rape and other sexual offences, pubic hair of the victim may be found on the victim as well as the assailant, and both the hairs should be compared to identify the which hair belongs to whom. In bestiality, animal hair may be found on the human pubis and vice versa. Can also be, that human hair may also found on the animals in case of bestiality. Rate of growth of hair in living on an average is 0.4 millimeter per day, that is 0.3 to 0.35 millimeter per day of scalp hairs and 0.3 millimeter per day of for bearded hairs. So this can be useful uh, if the person had died and if we know that when lastly he was shaved, and if he has cleanly shaved, then it will be useful the time of death if there is how much length has been growth. It will give the approximate time about how many days passed. So this is less significant, but should can be useful in certain cases. Now coming to negative importance of hairs, first is identification of a person. This gives an important clue with similar hairs predicting a large weapon and body of assailant. If the hair is present on the weapon, it can be compared with the assailant and as well as victim. Victim hairs remains may be identifiable long after the commission of crime and provides valuable physical evidence in scene of crime. In case of sexual offense like rape and sodomy cases, pubic hairs of accused may be detected on victim and vice versa. In bestiality, again, animal hair may be found around the genitalia of body and clothing of the accused. In road traffic accidents, hair of the victim may be found on the offending car. Nature of weapon can be identified whether there is a sharp or blunt weapon based on how the tip of the hair is damaged. Nature of assault, where like trace evidences like stains may be attached with the hairs, may be helpful to differentiate burns and scars. So in burns, there is singeing of hair is present. But other than the scars, there is no singeing. Singeing of hair may also indicate there is burns. Then close range firearm injury is present. Time since can be detected based on the growth of red, but it is not so significant. Age and sex can be determined. Poison can be determined in certain cases like arsenic, thallium, and lead, where chronic exposure to this poison are deposited in the hair and can be obtained from hairs. These are my references. Thank you.